Now, today promises to be an interesting edition. Why? Because for the fourth time, the president of our dear country, Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has declined assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, and that has raised lots of questions by concerned Nigerians, saying, are we sure we're going to have elections come 2019? Well, that remains the big question for today. Well, I have experts on the program tonight to discuss this particular topic. I have Dr. Mubarak Adekilekun. He is an electoral law specialist, a senior lecturer from the Department of Business Law, the University of Ilorin. Thank you for coming on the program, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter, and good evening to viewers at home.
Now, I also have on the program tonight Dr. Abdul Fatai Sambo. He is a constitutional lawyer, a senior lecturer from the Department of Public Law, Public Lawyer, University of Ilorin. Thank you for coming on the program tonight, sir.
You're most welcome, and many thanks for having me.
Now, these are big weights that I have on the program tonight. Now, before we get into the whole conversation, I need you both to know that there are two basic rules for this particular show. The first is I am the director, I am the referee. In the course of an argument, the minute I say stop or I whistle cut, I'm hoping that you comply. If you don't do that, I may have to issue you a red card. Thank God you're wearing a red tie. So I may have to issue you a red card, which means you're walking out on my show. Now, the second is, without fact and figures, whatever it is you say wrong can and will be used against you in the court of law. I'm happy you both are law experts here, so I guess we won't be seeing any of that. So are we on the same page?
Sure.
Viewers, it's time, so let's talk politics. Again, our focus for tonight is the denial of President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to the Electoral Act Bill for the fourth time. Before we get into a whole lot of questions raised by concerned Nigerians, let's talk about the Electoral Act itself. Is there a need for a new Electoral Act? I want to start with you, Dr. Mubarak.
Well, thank you for that question. It's a very fundamental question at this juncture. There is every need for us in Nigeria to amend the Electoral Act.
Okay.
Yes, I think there was an Electoral Act in 2003, 2006, and later amended in 2010. So it is that Electoral Act of 2010 that we're still using up till now. But people think that one of the most striking features or major thing that should be introduced into the new Electoral Act is the issue of e-voting.
Okay.
Because of the technology nowadays, like, see what they do in the United States of America. You can vote on your phone. You don't need to go and be on a very long queue before you express your intention to vote. Are you getting me? So
yes.
These are part of the things that have been incorporated into the new amendments, which has not been signed.
Okay.
So that question, yes, there is a need for amendment of the existing Electoral Act.
Thank you very much. Now let me come to you, Dr. Asambo. This particular bill we're talking about, the Electoral Act, has been presented before the president, the first, the second, the third, now the fourth time, and the president has denied assent. Why do you think this is happening?
Thank you very much. I believe it is, I agree with Dr. Mubarak that Electoral Act requires an amendment. Of course, an amendment that would not be inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution. Well, the President has the prerogative under, it's within the prerogative of the President under Section 58, subsections 1 to 5 of the Constitution, to give assent to the provision of the of any bill coming from the National Assembly. And of course, he has also the right to deny assent if he feels that perhaps there are drafting issues in any bill presented to him, or of course there are situations in which the provision will run contrary to the provision of the Constitution. So he has the power to give assent or withhold his assent. It's within his power.
Talking about drafting issues, now, the former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Olisa Agbakoba-San, has advised members of the National Assembly to override the refusal of President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018. Now, let me read further. He said the final draft of the bill considered by the lawmakers was agreed with the president precisely to avoid current challenges, while emphasizing that the major amendment of the Electoral Act relates to electronic technology for the conduct of the 2019 elections. So why is the president still refusing to accent the electoral bill?
Well, I believe that if you look at that provision very well, I, in some extent, to some extent, disagree with Olusegun because
Why?
if you look at some of the provisions in the new act, you believe that it is against the provision even of the constitution to amend even the electoral at this time. For instance, now let me give you an instance.
Okay.
If you look at Article 2 of the Protocol of Democracy and Good Governance signed into law, it's not yet enacted into law by the National Assembly, but Nigeria has ratified that particular convention, the ECOWAS convention. And that convention says that no nation should amend its electoral laws
Okay.
60 days before election.
Mm.
So if you have about, 6 months rather,
6
before
months.
election.
Okay.
So if you have a bill that is coming to the president just about 62 days or 64 days to the election, then that will be contrary to Article 2 of that protocol. And by virtue of Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties 1969, which Nigeria is a party to, looking at Articles 26 and 27 of that convention,
Okay.
no nation has the power to hide under its local law to hide under its own local law to violate any international obligation. And of course, that will also be contrary to Section 19, Subsection D of the 1999 Constitution, that says that Nigeria as a country must have respect for international law, international treaty, and international conventions. So looking at the community level of these laws, we show that if the president goes ahead to give assent to this particular bill, then the international community, whose duty it is to look at the validity of whether the election is peaceful, credible, and valid, then we definitely say that since you have conducted your election in violation of Article 2 of this protocol, then it's not something that can be regarded as credible.
All right, now hold it right there, constitutional lawyer Dr. Sambo. Let me come to you, Dr. Mubarak. Now, an average Nigerian on the outside would say that President Muhammadu Buhari is not doing well, not having a full understanding of what the Constitution says. Now, I want to ask you, not assenting the electoral bill for the 4th time, has the president done anything wrong?
Well, I partly agree with the submission of Dr. Sambo.
Okay.
But if you have a deep look at the whole scenario, the first thing you mentioned the other time was this will be the 4th time
Yes.
that the bill has been presented to Mr. President and that he has refused assent.
Yes.
I can remember, I think the last one was around April or May.
Okay.
There was one presented to him around
Yeah.
April or May this year. Yeah. Actually, then too, the president gave some reasons. National Assembly, they went back, still amended it. You are coming back now to say because the representation of the bill to Mr. President is less than 6 months. Actually, it points to the fact that the president is actually not willing. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
This thing started long ago, since 2015. Everybody knew there was a need to amend our electoral act. The National Assembly swung into action.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, if Mr. President was really interested in the amendment of the electoral act, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive should work hand in hand. They have licensing officers. Okay, let us iron out these areas. There were instances where, like budget, for example, there were some of those budgets that were done within 1-2 weeks. Look at it. Okay, let's do it like this because of the fact that they know that we needed this at that moment. Do you understand?
Yes.
The same kind of seriousness should also have been put in to the amendment of this electoral act. Let the presidency also contribute. Are you getting me? If at all you are interested. He has cited some examples or some reasons. Number one, that the electoral act gives INEC under Section 25 of the electoral act the discretion to stipulate the sequence of the elections. We know the National Assembly, they may have, or some members, not all of them, politicians, they may have a hidden agenda that some elections will come first, for example, presidential. Do you understand? After presidential, so they must have done whatever they would like to do with the presidential election before their own. Do you understand? So the president is complaining that INEC actually, as an independent body, has the discretion to say, this is the way we want the election conducted. Let legislative conference or let House of Assembly conference or whatever. So he gave that as an example. Yes, the other examples are that e-voting. A lot of people in the rural area may not, they need education. They need to be reorientated. But it's actually, as Dr. Sambo has said, we have about just 2 months or so to the election. Some of these elections are coming up in February, or even less than 2 months.
Yes.
How would voters in those villages know that these are the procedures, especially if you are talking about electronic voting?
We'll come to e-voting, Dr. Mubarak, but against the backdrop of all that you have said, in recent times, since President Muhammadu Buhari emerged as the president, and then we had Bukola Saraki as the Senate president, some Nigerians have come out to say it's been more of a power tussle between the executive and the legislative arm of government. Now, this issue of President Muhammadu Buhari declining assent on the Electoral Act bill, isn't this the executive versus legislative war in another phase?
It's an offshoot of the war between the two of them. We have had series of instances, confirmation of persons appointed by the president. Are you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
We have a issue of Magu. Till tomorrow, Magu has not been confirmed. He's still in the acting capacity. Are you getting me? So it's a manifestation of the war or dispute between the presidency and the legislature that Nigerians are feeling. We are feeling the heat. Like I said the other time, if the president was interested, or if he's really interested at all, they could just sit down within 1 week or 2 weeks. Let us fine tune, iron these ones out. Okay, this one will be against this provision of section so. Okay, this is how we. Laws are made for men. Men are not made for laws. We are the one making the law. We can amend the law to suit the socio-economic whatever exigencies.
Okay.
Do you understand? We don't need to. Now, the president was just giving them time. They will go 3, 4, 5 months to go for the amendment, represent it. It will take the president about 2, 3 months again to come up with his decision. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Very well.
Now, if it were to be budget, for example, I'm sure within 2, 3 days, the president will come back and say, Nigerians, this president, this budget is not. We knew how he has been doing that. But now he will take the president about 2, 3 months to come up with his reasons for not assenting. So, if you look at it, the bottom line is still that the president is not interested in signing any electoral bill.
Now, let me come to you, Dr. Sambo. I see you smiling. Do you disagree with what
yes,
you're saying?
I disagree a lot.
Okay, please go ahead.
Firstly, if you look at section 58 sub 4 of the Constitution, the president has 30 days within which to grant or revoke his assent.
Okay.
There was never a time when the first electoral bill, amendment bill, was presented in 2016 December.
Yes.
And there was never a time that the president spent more than the required 30 days.
You would have your turn. You would have your turn. Just hold Dr. Mubarak. Just hold it. Let's have his take.
The bill emanated from the House of Reps. It wasn't a bill that emanated from the executive.
Okay.
Now, the implication of that is that the president has no right under the Constitution to insert anything into that particular bill.
Okay.
Whatever provisions he wants to be inserted in that particular provision, he has to take it back to the National Assembly.
Okay.
So it's National Assembly's duty to now insert whatever gray areas that the president actually points out to them. So there was ever a time in the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one that the president spent more than the prior 30 days. Even the last one was sent to him by November 8th.
Okay.
And the president rejected it by December 7th. That's about 29 days after it was sent to him. So if the president had actually wanted, of course the president wanted a situation where you have a new electoral act, but the same time doesn't want something that will create a lot of controversies for the electorate. For here, I just mentioned it now that the election in Kenya was cancelled just because of the fact that people were not interested in electronic voting, and they actually conducted it. We have stations where internets are not really working in Nigeria. And there was even this particular section of section 63 sub 4 of that amended bill that says that the presiding officer must announce results, not necessarily counting. So if the word counting was in the previous one, the third amended version, and the fourth one, they removed the word counting. So what means that the presiding officer is not supposed to just announce results. Another thing is that the presiding officer is also expected to transmit the electronic copy to Abuja
Okay.
And if he fails to do that, that fourth amended version criminalizes it.
Okay.
So that means you want to send presiding officers to jail merely because they failed to, which may not even be, his own problem. So that, I think it has a lot of drafting issues, and I think a lot of experts need to actually be consulted before things like that.
Talking about the whole lot of expert that needs to be consulted. Well, tonight I have you both as my expert that I have consulted, and we will be going on the quick timeout. Viewers, the program you're watching is Today's Politics. When we come back, we'll continue with the program. Please stay with us. Viewers, thank you for still staying with us. The program you're watching is Today's Politics. Before we went for that quick timeout, our discussion was centered on President Muhammadu Buhari's denial to assent the Electoral Act for the fourth time. We're looking at its implications in our dear country, Nigeria. And I have my guest, before we went for that particular break, Dr. Mubarak Adikilekun, who is an electoral law specialist in the House. Also, I have Dr. Abdul Fatai Sambo, who is a constitutional lawyer. Thank you both for coming on the program tonight. Now, we were talking about the electoral law. Now, Dr. Sambo, I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you a direct one. Has the president done anything wrong by not assenting the Electoral Act bill for the fourth time?
Well, constitutionally, there's nothing wrong.
Constitutionally, there's nothing wrong.
With
Now, let's look at it from this angle. Elections are fast approaching. We have elections coming up next year, February, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And this is December 12th,
Yeah.
and the president is yet to assent the Electoral Act bill. Don't you think that would affect the elections come next year?
Well, while I'm not saying that Electoral Act should not be amended, but I'm of the view that we have almost a very good Electoral Act of 2010, which was even amended in 2015. That bill, that Electoral Act was used to conduct this 2015 election.
Okay.
And that election was adjudged to be fair, credible, and peaceful across the country. So if you use the same, let me note that that particular act of 2010 does not prohibit the use of card readers. It allows the INEC discretion to either use an incident form or something like that. But even in the INEC guideline, INEC has stated it clearly that they were going to use card readers. Even though the decision is of the Supreme Court in was the governor of Rivers State,
Wike against INEC.
Justice Wisdom of the view that yes, Electoral Act requires that you have something like, the provision, making it mandatory for us to have card readers. But that decision never said that you should not make use of card readers. So as far as this 2019 election is concerned, INEC has said clearly that they're going to use card readers, that incidence forms will not be used for that particular, which is allowed.
Okay.
And we have even in their guideline giving them the power to. So I think there's nothing really much for. We can't lose anything.
Now, are you saying that Nigerians will not witness a postponement of the elections come 2019?
I don't think so.
Even if the Electoral Act Amendment bill is not signed?
Well, not that, because we have an existing law.
Yes, because we have an existing one.
So there is nothing for. In fact, this new act will create a lot of problems because it will be difficult even for INEC to even study some of these provisions, analyze those provisions, know the implications of this provision on the electoral processes before they can, and it will create a lot of confusion. So since the 2010 Electoral Act is in place and we have conducted a very good election based on that particular act, I think we can make use of that particular act and have our 2019 election.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sambo. Now, very quickly, let me come to you, Dr. Mubarak. I read earlier that the former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Olisa Agbakoba, has advised members of the National Assembly to override the refusal of President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to the Electoral Act. Now, I understand that two-thirds of the lower house and the Senate can actually, ensure the passage of this particular bill. Now, should that be what the Senate result to? Should that be considered as an option?
Well, I disagree with him.
Okay.
Because he's a lawyer, with due respect, he doesn't have the power of implementation of the law. To implement the law, it is the duty of the executive.
Okay.
So actually, my point has been that, yes, unlike what Dr. Sambo said, Nigerians, we know we need amendment to the electoral laws. It is not complete. Yaradua, when he was alive, of blessed memory, he confessed that he came as a result of, irregular product of election, whatever. He became president. So President Buhari cannot say that his election in 2015 was flawless. I guess we still have some areas that, nitty-gritty areas that ought to be fine-tuned.
Okay.
You understand? So he knew, that's been my point, that since 2015, if you know that we needed to amend the electoral law, we should have worked hand in hand, the legislature together with the executive.
Okay.
But the advice of Agbakoba, if they override the provision of the Electoral Act now, I've told you there is voter education that is seriously needed. There are people in the villages. It is not that it will introduce voting on people in the rural areas should vote on their phone. People will still come out. But we are trying to deploy electronic e-voting seriously. Like accreditation. Once you do your accreditation, it goes into iCloud. You understand? In such a way that nobody will be able to alter it. So the total number of people accredited from this particular polling unit will be showing even at the INEC national office immediately. So those are the things. So it will be difficult for anybody to come and say we want to rig election through accreditation or through proper voting or through proper counting. Do you understand? So that is.
Do you think that the Senate should not override?
No, I don't think so. I think they shouldn't. They don't need it.
Now, let me come to you very quickly, Dr. Sambo. We're running out of time. On e-voting, as a country, Nigeria, are we there yet?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We have, at the moment, we are generating, less than 7,000 megawatts of electricity. Of course, transmission is not up to that. So we find a situation where people in the rural area will find it extremely difficult to do anything on e-voting. And you find situations where e-voting, even of course in the US, you see situations where Russia, they are even claiming that Russia has something to do with the last election. So I think we are not there yet.
All right, thank you very much. Final words from my guest, Dr. Sambo. On e-voting, we are not there yet. Viewers, this is the much we can take on today's edition of your political program, Today's Politics. If you did enjoy it, next week, Wednesday, is another day, another edition for you to anticipate. Like I usually say, don't stop talking politics because it is indeed interesting. My name is Tunde Oyinloye, and I'm saying thank you for being a part of our audience. Do have a lovely night rest. Bye-bye.